Hi, this is Mike Power, President and CEO of Silver Range Resources, and this is an update on our Gold Chief project. First, a quick word from our lawyers. Gold Chief's a structurally controlled, carbonate-hosted, high-grade gold target. Our project covers the largest producer in the Chief Mining District, and we believe there's potential to find a lot more in this area. Gold Chief's located in Lincoln County, just north of Caliente. It's readily accessible off the Great Basin Highway via a 4x4 road. Gold Chief is in the Chief Mining District, which is centered on the cobalt stock just west of the Gold Chief property. The largest producer in the whole district is the Gold Chief mine, which produced approximately 5,000 tons at 6 grams between 1913 and 1914, with some high grading thereafter. There's another smaller prospect just to the north of it on the property. The property is located on the northwest margin of the Caliente Caldera complex. There are a number of other mining districts surrounding this caldera, including notably Delamar down about here. Mineralization in the area is directly related to the Oligocene volcanic and intrusive activity associated with the creation of this caldera. Zooming in, here's the Gold Chief project. It's on the margin of the Cobalt Canyon stock, which outcrops down here and probably underlays most of the district. Overlying Cambrian quartzites and younger carbonates have slid off this intrusion as it was emplaced, most notably along the Stampede Creek detachment fault that's shown right here. Off to the east, there's thin alluvial cover. At the property scale, here you can see the underlying Cambrian quartzites separated from overlying Cambrian carbonates via the Stampede Creek detachment fault. This is a moderately east-dipping normal fault. The carbonates basically slid off the underlying quartzites as the area domed up. Here's the other strand of the Stampede Creek fault, and you'll see here that are separated by this lateral ramp or tear fault. This is a south-dipping fault. The Gold Chief mine is located right here at the intersection of the Stampede Creek detachment fault and the lateral ramp. Here's a compilation of gold geochemical results in the property area. There's a weak golden soil anomaly directly associated with the Gold Chief mine, about 30 ppb in amplitude. In terms of rock sample results, we were able to sample the back of the glory hole or collapsed stope at the top of the Gold Chief mine, and we found mineralization in this barren hanging wall in the order of about 14 meters at 2 grams, including some higher grade results. Keep in mind, this was the edge of the stope, not the stope itself, and we really don't have an indication of what kind of material came out of this mine beyond the historic records, which indicate average production grade of about 6 grams a ton. Here's what the mineralization looks like. This is a photo mosaic of the back of the Gold Chief stope or the glory hole, and it shows the interval that was chip sampled. This returned 14 meters at just under 2 grams. The mineralization is basically a carbonate breccia located along the fault zone. There's limonite, manganese oxides, some hematite, calcite, quartz. You don't see any sulfides in this material at all. Here's what we think is going on at Gold Chief. Mineralizing fluids generated by the Cobalt Canyon stock or the caldera complex are likely being driven up along these faults through here, and where they intersected the overlying carbonates, that's where we're getting mineralization developed. Here's the position of the Gold Chief mine. The stope would be right up here. The miners followed some of this material down dip a short distance and then quit. We think there might be more material along these faults here, and that's our exploration target. To find new mineralization, we ran a three-dimensional induced polarization and resistivity survey centered on the Gold Chief mine. The survey was designed to image targets that were down dip from the Stampede detachment fault, so we're looking at targets that might be in this area here, and also targets that were down dip of the lateral ramp fault, in other words, down in this area here. We did so by running an expanding pole-dipole array on orthogonal lines reading to the 10th separation. Let's have a look at the survey results. This is the electrical resistivity inversion model viewed from the south. So we're looking to the north and we're south of the Gold Chief mine. The Gold Chief mine is the light green ball and stick figure there. The ball at the top is the location of the stope, and the stick extending to the southeast is the location of the inclined shaft along the lateral ramp fault, based on historical data. Surrounding the Gold Chief mine, you can see a series of drill holes. Those prefixed by RC were drilled by Homestake. Those prefixed by IW were drilled by Ironwood. The key feature in this model is the area of dark green, the big blob. We don't believe this is a feature of interest in and of itself. It's a region of low resistivity. We believe it's actually probably a separate rock unit that's been altered more than the surrounding rocks. What is interesting about this feature, however, is the shape of the surface on the west side. So let's rotate this around. Near the Gold Chief mine and extending to the southeast, parallel to the incline shaft, you'll see a surface that dips to the northeast. This is the intersection of the Stampede Fault and the lateral ramp. North of the Gold Chief mine, trending north and dipping to the east, is another surface. This is coincident with the Stampede Detachment Fault, and we believe is the trace of it in the subsurface. So, what the electrical resistivity modeling has revealed is the structural architecture in the area, the shape of the Stampede Detachment Fault and the intersection between the Detachment Fault and the lateral ramp. This is the chargeability inversion model viewed from the south. Once again, we're looking north. We're south of the Gold Chief mine, which is shown in light green, and you can see the surrounding drill holes in the area of the mine. The regions in purple are areas where the chargeability in the model is above 5 millivolts per volt. These could be regions where there's intense clay alteration or perhaps disseminated sulfides. The central feature of interest in this is the large area of elevated chargeability below the Gold Chief mine and the surrounding drill holes. This feature is at a depth of approximately 80 meters. It doesn't reach surface. The feature runs along the Stampede Detachment Fault to the north, and then it veers to the southeast in the area of the Gold Chief mine. It's been intersected in a couple of drill holes, and we noted with interest that the holes drilled by Homestake, where we had good logs, indicated that two of the holes in particular grounded in sulfide. In one case, 6% black sulfides unidentified, and in another case, 2 to 3% pyrite. So we feel that this deep chargeability anomaly might be caused by disseminated sulfides. The geophysical survey results have set up a couple of nice drill targets. We're looking at the resistivity model on the left. You can see here the Stampede Detachment Fault and the lateral ramp. Here's the Gold Chief mine. We believe that the most prospective area to test on the property right now would be to basically follow down the line of intersection of the Stampede Detachment Fault and the lateral ramp. That's defined here by this line, and you can see it in that northeast dipping surface in the bottom of the resistivity model. Mineralization may be localized along this fault intersection, and this would be our primary drill target. A secondary drill target would be this region of elevated chargeability here, which actually straddles the Stampede Detachment Fault and heads off in this direction here. That would require some deeper drill holes. You should note that although these features in the model are shown as having a bottom, that's not in fact the case. There's a depth of investigation inherent in the geophysical survey, and we just can't see what's beneath this. We think there's a much bigger target here at that Gold Chief. This is an aster image that shows clay alteration associated with volcanic and epithermal activity. Here's the edge of the caldera complex, and you'll note there are a series of mining districts that cluster around the edge of it. The most intense alteration anomaly associated with the Caliente caldera complex is actually at Gold Chief. Delamar here produced quite a bit of gold and actually was the principal producer in Nevada at the turn of the 20th century. Gold Chief is, by contrast, an underexplored area, and we think that finding something at the Gold Chief mine might be the key to unlocking perhaps other targets surrounding this very large alteration anomaly. So that's it. We got a couple of nice drill targets right in the area of the Gold Chief mine, and we think there's great potential to find similar style mineralization elsewhere in the large alteration halo that surrounds the Cobalt Canyon stock. We're moving ahead with drill permitting, and we're looking for a partner.